Good evening, folks. Reloading Bench back to you once again. We're taking a step back in time. This is 2011. When this came out in 2011, I was immediately drawn to it. One, because of its simplicity and its design. And it was a company, Nest, was originally started by some former Apple iPod, the big thick iPod with the round dial, the way old school iPod from the late 90s. Started Nest, very simplistic design, very just like Apple, very intuitive. And what was even funnier was when you open the product, it was very Apple-esque in terms of its packaging and stuff. Just the attention to detail, a Nest screwdriver, all of the, obviously I don't have this because this is installed in my house. All of the goodies from the, again, very Apple-esque in terms of its packaging and stuffs inside. Didn't need this plate, didn't need those screwdrivers, but kept everything because that's my OCD kicking in. So fast forward to mid-year. We're heading into the end of 2025. Mid-year, and I was very disappointed to learn that Nest was acquired by Google a number of years ago. It's been quite a while. And I thought, it's all about the data. Google already has enough about me in terms of everything I browse, everything, my email. Again, it's data, data, data. Well, Google said that they were discontinuing the Nest app for Gen 1 and Gen 2 Nests. And mine is a Gen 1. I've never had an issue with this thing. Love it. Love the app functionality. Love to be able to be at work and, let me adjust my schedule. Let me turn the AC on, or vice versa, heat. Let me turn it off. Whatever. Love the fact that you didn't have to stand in front of it like the old Mercury-based ones and do your thing. And just like Tesla spawned a bunch of copycats, so too did Nest. And again, this has been phenomenal from day one. Google sends out an announcement earlier this year, mid-year. We're discontinuing support for Gen 1, Gen 2 in the Nest app. Essentially, the Nest app will no longer function. But this will still work as a walk-up device, just like the Mercury-based one. And you can still schedule. So you can do everything you've done on the actual device, you just don't have the app to do it. Obviously, they're changing the hardware and the APIs and blah, 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 so they don't want to continue developing for Gen 1, Gen 2. It's a money thing. It's a money play. And we all know Google is hurting and needs money, and I'm being very sarcastic there. So Google was generous enough to include I don't know what the right word is, discount? Yeah, we're no longer supporting your Nest app, but here's an offer to buy a new current generation Nest, even though there's nothing wrong with yours, at a discount price. That's kind of like, Apple does this, with the phone, where banking apps are a great example. You need to update your banking app. Every time I want to go into my banking app, it needs an update. And then I do the update. But sometimes, and this has happened in the past, the update won't install because the OS is too old. And you can't update the OS because the phone is too old. So what that means is if you want to use the banking app, the current version of the banking app, you have to upgrade your phone. That's expensive. That's exactly what Google is doing. It's a revenue play. It's a money game. So we're not going to support this perfectly fine functioning thing right now because it's too old and we don't want to spend the money to support it. But we'll let you buy a new one and start that process all over again, knowing that they're going to do the same thing in a certain number of years and not support that. And you'll have to keep updating. It's a subscription model. You'll own nothing and be happy. So I bought this. I thought I owned it, but because it's app-based and Google's turning off app, my functionality is limited. So I will not ever be buying a Google Nest. I will not ever buy another Google product if I can avoid it. This is very similar to buying a car and 10 years later, the car company saying your car will no longer work Why? Because we don't want to support it anymore. Just because it's a money thing. It's too expensive for us to support it. So we're going to discontinue it. But we'll give you a discount if you buy a new car. That's a terrible model. And that's unfortunate this has happened with Nest. And I'm hearing that somebody online is doing some firmware tweak and is going to be able to support the Nest via an app. But that just means you're going to be subject to somebody else's whims within their app and their costs. So I will not, I guess, jailbreak this with a firmware hack. I'll leave it as is. It'll be walk up. I'll deal with it. I'm very, very comfortable with what this device does. But what I thought was funny was I wanted to check the settings. So this was turned off in terms of functionality with my app on October 25th. We're into mid-November now. I checked, and as you can see from the screenshots, it's still connected to the app. I can't launch the app. The app is forcing me to do some things that I'm not going to do, only to then be told once I do them and provide them the information they need that the app is no longer working with my version of Nest. But what was interesting was the Nest was still connected to my network. I had to disconnect from my network. So Google and company were still pulling all my data, my temperature, I don't think there's a microphone in this thing, but who knows? They were still gathering all my data. So I disconnected from the network, but I can't disconnect from the app, even though the app doesn't function on the actual device, as you can see from the screenshot. So I thought it was very funny that you turned off the app, but you didn't self-disconnect from my network. So you're still pulling my data, or at least you were, but you are no longer. So whether I upgrade to a ecobee or something else, or just leave this in, because again, this works. There's nothing wrong with this. Google just decided to turn off the app functionality and hinder a product that I already own and paid for. So I'm actually surprised they didn't move to a subscription model to keep the app. Like, we'll keep your app going at $5 a month. I'm sure somebody would have paid that, but they chose not to. So very interesting. Okay, rant over.